Good morning. It is Wednesday, July 21st, 2021, and Robin and I are on the Cataloochee Divide Trail. We got dropped off this morning. I can't really call it hitching a ride, but I can certainly say that they were trail angels. I'm gonna have to stop though, because this is really uphill and I'm already losing my breath. But at camp last night at the Cataloochee campground, we met Jim and June. We talked and had a lot of good conversation, and they asked what we were doing and we told them. And I told them that we were coming up this trail and that I would have to park my car, and then once we get back to camp, maybe rest a bit and then walk the 5 miles back to the car. And Jim offered to drive us. So this morning I took him up on his offer. He drove my car, and then he's driving my car back to the campground. And when we get back, then we won't have to walk an extra 5 miles. So today is supposed to be a 12.6 mile day, and we will end on the same trail that we were on yesterday, which is the Caldwell Fork Loop Trail. We'll have to go back through all of the 8 water crossings, which were fun. That video should be out before this video. But we will be going up along the Appalachian Institute of Science. I think I'm missing a word there. And we will also come up on the swag. So we'll have a lot of fun video, I think, for today. It is 9 o'clock. So we're ready to rock and roll, and I will catch you down the trail a little bit. It's pretty uphill right here. Let me see if I can switch the camera. It's pretty uphill, but I don't think it's going to be like this the whole day. I think we're going to be up and down a ridge line, basically. So I don't anticipate any high elevation climb. So anyway, I'll get back to you when I have more. Just to the left, about 3.4 miles in, is this view. This will be outside the park boundary. Well, this Taylor isn't turning around. She might take a break though. Okay, so I come upon this little juncture. It shows that the swag is still 1.4 away, and that the Appalachian Highlands Science Center is right. Well, it was to our left coming down this direction, but it's right here. And we're going to go up here, take a break, maybe use the bathroom if we can, and continue on our journey. I'll show you up here once we get up here. I know there's supposed to be a spectacular view. All right, so the little side trail to the Science Center is, I'd say, at least 1/10 of a mile. But it's so going to be worth it. This is the opening. We are on the grounds of the Science Center. Look at that. Look at that. It's so pretty. So worth it. There were already a couple signs making sure that we got here correctly, because there are a few side trails. So they let you know where you should be going. Signs like that one. Smoky Mountains are smoky today. Maybe not the typical cloud smoke, but they sure are blue. And this is the Science Center. We might spend a little bit of time up here. Made it to the fork. This is the McKee branch going down here, but we're on the Cataloochee Divide Trail. We're continuing on to Hemp Hill Bald, 1.8 miles, and then we'll come back. In the meantime, we will see the swag. We will stop there for lunch. Then we will come back to the McKee branch trail, go down 2.3 miles, back down to the trail we were at yesterday. So we will come back to this point here in just a couple hours. We are currently at the swag at Jonathan's Hideaway? No. Roger's Hideaway. There's a lot of people here, so I'm not sure how much I can record since this is a resort and we're just hiker trash, but this is one of the views. All right, so we have come to Hemp Hill Bald, which is gorgeous. This is our turnaround point, because this trail, which is hard to see, but right there, that is Hemp Hill Bald Trail. And then another one hard to see, but right there, that is Caldwell Fork. I'll get those two trails on my next trip back. So here's the sign. Cataloochee, we're going to go back to McKee Branch, 1.8 miles. And yeah, so we're going to head back this way. We didn't stop at the swag. We stopped at Gooseberry Knob, which is part of the swag. We were, I think, the only hikers there. So we didn't mingle, but I think you saw the Roger's Hideaway that we went and had lunch at. So going back up here, it is tempting to stop at the actual swag. At first we thought maybe you just don't see it on trail, and then we went further and we saw it. So on the way back, if it looks inviting, we are going to stop in maybe for a soda. If not, no biggie, because we have got the hardest part of our day over with. Everything else is quite literally downhill. So yeah, we are leaving the swag. Pretty cool experience. It is a beautiful place. It definitely is a high-end place. And then we were told between the lodge and Gooseberry Knob, that is what's called the swag. We were offered our second trail magic of the day, which was the bottle Coke that you'll see in one of the pictures, and a tour. Very nice people up there. Very cool place. If I ever win the lottery, I might stay here. See if I can get that on the... It's just one of the backside porches. I don't know if you can see that through there. But a super swanky place. And I'm so glad that I had all my amenities with me and could put on my deodorant today. So if you're coming up this trail, you have to come by here. It's an experience, and yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. So we are headed back down to connect with McKee Branch Trail, and that will take us off of the Cataloochee Divide Trail and back down to the campground eventually. So not much to see here. I will turn the camera back on when we get back down to the next junction. We have made it back to McKee Branch. We had an awesome afternoon up here. We had a great experience. So it was worth just kind of hanging out for a bit. So now we've got 2.3 miles back to the Caldwell Fork Trail where we hiked yesterday. There may be a 1/10 of a mile of Caldwell Fork that is new to us, but it's not going to be much. So we have heard stories about McKee Branch and how steep it is. So that's why we decided to go down it, because as much as the downhill can be tiresome, the uphill's worse. So here we go, 2.3 miles. McKee Branch Trail is every bit as steep as you've read it. I would highly suggest going downhill, not uphill. This is very steep. And then when you get up there, I mean, you still have a lot of trail to hike, whichever way you go. There's no views. Yeah, I definitely would do this downhill all the time. Only once, though. That was very exciting. That was a big bear. Probably the biggest bear I've seen. But there's a good ravine and a river between us. But he was, I don't know, is that maybe 150 feet? Maybe not that far from us. Sorry, I'm still trying to see. He went up the hill and I think he's gone now, but it was a good reprieve from this horrible trail. I mean, not horrible trail. It's wonderful that it's almost over with, but it's not my favorite trail. We are about, looks like 2/10 of a mile to the end of it, and then we hit Caldwell, which is all the water crossings, and we're so excited for those because it just is going to feel good for our ankles and our knees to cool off. It's been a stretch of pretty tight downhill, and that was the only good thing about it. So there's the blessing in this trail. It's funny because all day long on Cataloochee Divide Trail we were seeing bear scat. I mean, all over the place, but no bear. And here we've seen a couple scats, but it just didn't feel like it was a place a bear would be. And there we go. Super exciting. About maybe 1/10 of a mile or so from the bear sighting, we are coming up to our junction, which will be the Caldwell, I I don't know why I always forget these names of these trails. Caldwell Fork. Yes, Caldwell Fork. So I think we have 0.1 mile because I think at the Big Fork or right after that is then Boogerman, which is where we turned off of the Caldwell Fork trail yesterday. So we're really looking forward to those water crossings. Okay, we made it back to the trailhead. Big Fork Ridge is a trail I'll take at another time, but I'm going to go back to Cataloochee Road at 3.1 miles. We're going to go right through here. So we are at the end of our day. 15 and a half miles it looks like. We were longer than I'd hoped, but I really wasn't realizing how much time we would spend at the different facilities. So that was fun. And we're hoping that my car is parked in our tent site.